Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a smashing weekend so far. Today, we're going to be diving into our daily cryptocurrency market update. And of course, this wouldn't be a cryptocurrency market update if we didn't take a look at Bitcoin. We are going to start by diving into the chart and looking at Bitcoin, sort of refreshing you guys with what we've been speaking about over the past couple of weeks, things that we're looking out for, and why we are now cautiously optimistic moving forwards. Optimistic is really the primary word there. However, we've got a little bit of caution due to kind of macroeconomic events taking place currently. So we'll be talking about that, going over some on-chain analytics. The reason that we do this, and one reason that we maintained rather bullish whilst we were pulling back over here, is simply just because this does not look like the precursor to a multi-year bear market like we've previously seen. Many people have called for that. I've been a strong adversary of the fact that we were going into a prolonged bear market, just because this does not look like bear market or the precursor to bear market structure, in my opinion. And there's a lot of on-chain analytics that kind of support this. We're going to be talking about Mt. GOX. Elizabeth Warren calling for CBDCs. CBDCs are bad for humanity, in my opinion. I'm going to be sharing some of my thoughts on that. And then we're going to be flying through a number of other stories related to the cryptocurrency market, like AXIE Infinity getting hacked. A little bit about TERRA buying Bitcoin to add to their treasury. And of course, this is huge news. MetaMask rolls out Apple Pay integration and other iOS updates. So we'll get into it all, guys. Let's start by taking a look at the overall market. It is a Sunday. Things are very low volume. Markets are a little bit down, which we've been expecting. You guys know that we watched this bullish MACD cross for Bitcoin. You've got them on a lot of altcoins. I think Ethereum's just had one or is heading into one. Cardano and a number of others have had them. These typically, whenever this has been the case and you've had this bullish cross, and you can go back on the Bitcoin chart and look, has led to further upside continuation. But quite commonly, when you get that cross, you'll have a period of potential consolidation before you get that continuation, which things are actually playing out pretty perfectly to plan. We'll drop down the time zones very quickly. You know, this is the kind of structure that we were looking at. We were saying, look, you could break out of this. This is more of a bullish structure, in my opinion, than a bearish one. You have broken out. We did call the support or resistance and now support flip. And you're in this where Bitcoin currently is extremely significant. And if we get a push above it and can hold above this kind of cluster of significant levels, then it's likely that we do see that continuation. And on a kind of more broader pattern, this is potentially what we're looking at. Some sort of a rising wedge of sorts, but not really. Some sort of a funnel that we potentially break to the upside of, similar to what happened after March 2020, potentially. That's what I'm personally looking at. You know, I do think crypto's got a long way to go. We're at a very pivotal moment in regards to legislation and regulation, which I actually think is going to excel crypto to the next stage of adoption. You guys know, and we spoke about it in yesterday's video, that we haven't actually seen Wall Street push this market yet like they have with every other technological revolution. That is coming. They're going to monetize it, and this market is going to explode to the tens of trillions, in my opinion. But it's trying to time exactly when that happens. You're dealing with a lot of external factors. But, you know, I am very optimistic on the crypto space. Right now, I do have a little bit of caution moving forwards just because of how uncertain everything is on a kind of global stage. In fact, monetary policy itself is really coming into question now, and the kind of debt markets. We've got a hour-long video coming out later where we talk about all that. It's going to be well worth a watch. And it may be, for some of you, the first time you guys hear of many of these kind of things. But it's, as an investor, you know, many people are new to the crypto space or new to investing, and crypto has been their first venture. It doesn't sort of hurt to get to grips with markets elsewhere and kind of understand them, giving you, in my opinion, a better understanding of the cryptocurrency space generally. So let's talk about some on-chain data. 63% of Bitcoin's supply has not moved in at least 1 year. This is just 0.3 shy of an all-time high. So this is extremely significant, guys. You can see, and one thing that this is really one of our favorite indicators from the root. One thing that we've highlighted is that your on-chain metrics do not support a bear market. It just doesn't. It would go against every other. It would go against how on-chain metrics have looked. You know, typically when we're entering these bear markets, you know, your short-term hodlers are at all-time highs and your long-term hodlers are at lows. But now you've got the opposite occurring. When you've been here previously, you've always seen that upside continuation. And we've got that coupled in with a number of other things that we've just spoke about. So I am optimistic. There was a scare in regards to Mt. Gox potentially sending 6,800 Bitcoin, but we have got an update. Mt. Gox, 6,800 BTC, not linked with XCO, plans to redistribute 6 billion. So 6 billion would, if that all sold off on the market, this is a ongoing story now. Mt. Gox is kind of like a bad smell that just won't leave the cryptocurrency space. Essentially, this has been something that's been very present as a threat. People have deemed it as somewhat of a threat to crypto. Of course, if that 6 billion all hit the market and sold at once, it definitely would cause a sell-off. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And of course, this, it wasn't a Mt. Gox wallet that was moving this, despite some of the Twitter feeds that we got. This is from Whale Alert, and he's saying transferred from Mt. Gox cold wallet to unknown wallet. This wasn't the case. This was an F2 pool address that was moving things around with early miners. So that's good news. We've got Elizabeth Warren calling for CBDCs. We do not want CBDCs as human beings because it essentially, blockchain is an immutable record of everything. Now, that sounds like maybe, okay, well, what have you got to hide? Well, you've got nothing to hide, but do you really want your governments, and we saw it in Canada, having complete control over your financial life? It's one somewhat freedom that we have. We can choose to spend our money however we want. With the implementation of CBDCs, essentially they would be able to dictate to you what you do and don't spend your money on, and really bring down the kibosh further. And I'm really against CBDCs, to be honest. And what we saw in Canada was absolutely disgusting in regards to them, essentially shutting down people's bank accounts that were associated with the trucker incident. And that's just not right. You got, what people have got to remember is finance is so important, yet people don't take the time to learn about it. If you really think about money, it's all it really is for me is a tool to, get what you want, freedom. The more money you have, the more things you can sort of do in many respects. And the fact that government can play God over this, which they already kind of do, is not something that I really want to entertain. But we are going to do a much longer video on CBDCs. Let's fly into a little bit more news. We've got the AXIE Infinity, essentially got hacked for over $600 million, which is just insane. It does seem like hacks are becoming more frequent. They're happening all over the place on all ecosystems, not just the Ethereum one. You've got TERRA that bought $139 million of Bitcoin, and their wallet reaches 31,000 BTC, which is huge. I actually do like what Duquan is doing with the TERRA Foundation and their kind of stablecoin. Their stablecoin's huge. It's been one of the huge contributors to TERRA's success. And, I think it's quite a good play, what he's done there. You've got OpenSea set to integrate Solana in April, further expanding the NFT ecosystem. I'm pretty bullish on NFTs because I think that it's a space, certainly for, everybody knows about Ethereum NFTs, but there's many NFTs out there on many other blockchains that are underappreciated, very cheap at the moment, that could see great appreciation as we kind of expand that industry. And this is a huge one. MetaMask rolls out Apple Pay integration and other iOS updates. Consensus owned MetaMask revealed important update for iPhone and Apple Pay users on Tuesday that enable them to purchase cryptocurrencies directly through the app via debit or credit card, removing the hassle of sending Ethereum from an outside source to add funds. This is extremely significant because one reason we're so optimistic about crypto is because as an industry, we're nowhere near where we're going. The industry hasn't even really been built yet, nor has the infrastructure to support it. We're at a very early stage within the cryptocurrency market's history. And this is just another win for it, sort of allowing easier access to the cryptocurrency markets via MetaMask. And I use MetaMask. I wonder how long MetaMask are going to stay somewhat unhosted for. And what I mean by that is they're not going to require KYC. We did have the EU vote to block unhosted wallets. I ultimately don't think that your governments around the world, are going to allow you to transact and store value without them having any kind of a way to identify it with you. I just don't, it just doesn't seem something that they're going to allow to happen. So this is something definitely to prepare for, something that I think is inevitable that's going to come with regulation. But the Apple Pay news is certainly significant and something that I'm stoked about. So that is really all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Watch out for our video coming out later on. That's all I have for you, ladies and gents. Enjoy your evenings, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.